Welcome to our second St. James Chair Yoga session. If you are just tuning in for the first time, please go back and watch the first Chair Yoga session before doing the second one. In the first one, we talked a little bit more thoroughly about using a well-balanced, sturdy chair. We also talked quite a bit more extensively about straight spine. And sitting with a straight spine. A little bit less of that information today because every time we come together, our class will be a little bit different. So to begin, you're sitting 1/3 to 1/2 forward on your chair, so there's some space behind you and you're not sitting up against the back of the chair. We are going to start with our breathing technique today, and today we're going to use what's called diaphragmatic breathing. It is using all of the capacity of our breathing. Our diaphragm is one of those muscles that helps with breathing. So bringing one hand up to the chest and one hand onto the belly. And then on the inhale, letting the breath come into the belly, letting it rise up into the ribs, and lastly into the chest. On the exhale, let the chest drop, the ribs drop, and the belly drop. Inhale, filling the belly up like a balloon, letting that breath come into the chest, and then in all the way up into the ribs and into the chest, and then chest drops, ribs drop, and belly drops on the exhale. Taking a couple more rounds of this diaphragmatic breathing. It's 3-part breath, letting the breath come into the belly, up into the ribs, and lastly into the chest, and then chest drops, ribs drop, and belly drops. One more round. And then hands release from the torso, coming hands back down onto the thighs. Coming to the normal pace of your breathing and noticing the rhythm of that breath. So for our first pose today, we're going to stand up. I'm going to turn my chair sideways, but what you're going to do is just come to the front edge of your chair and walk your feet back about 4 to 6 inches. Bring your hands onto the middle of your chair, and we're going to do our cat and cow here with hands on the chair for today. So we're in a tabletop type of position. And that cat and cow, let's start with our cow pose, taking the tailbone skyward, the heart comes out front, and then on an exhale, the tailbone pulls in, the head drops down, we round in our spine, flexing here. Inhale, a little bit of bend in the knees is okay here, letting the chest come out, the tailbone draws high. Exhale as we curl the tailbone in, drop the head down, and round the spine, flexion. Inhale as we extend the spine, taking the gaze out front, tailbone high. Exhale, dropping the head, rounding the tailbone in, into our cat pose. Let's take 2 more rounds. Inhale into extension of spine. There's a little bend in the knees. Exhale into a rounding of the spine. Spine goes skyward, tailbone draws down, head drops. And then come back through to neutral spine. Move the feet back just a little bit further. And we're in a little bit wider tabletop position, and then bring the forearms down onto your chair. So here we are, we're going to take a little bit of kind of like a down dog with our forearms on the ground. And then from this, let's draw the hips back, straightening into the arms a little bit, dropping your head into that space between the arms. Inhale, back through center. This is going to be an opening for the hamstrings, the back sides of the legs, so there could be a little bend here in the knees, dropping your head down into that space. Inhale, bend back into your elbows. You're looking right into the middle of your chair. One more time. Sending the hips back a little bit. Nice opening for the back side of the body, dropping the head down. Inhale, come back through center, gazing at your chair. Now just to work into the hamstrings a little bit more, bending into one knee and straightening into the other. Little shifting of the hips from side to side. Take that bend in the other side. Back through to center, switch that out. Bend into the opposite knee, straighten into the other. One more time. Bend into one knee, straighten into the other. And come back in through center. Hands come back onto the chair. Walk your feet forward. Hands come up onto your hips all the way to standing. And then you're going to sit down into your chair. I'm going to turn my chair so I'm facing you once again. And coming on that seat so that there's 1/3 to 1/2 of the seat that you have left behind you. You're not up against the back of the chair. Ground the feet on the earth. Your feet are hip distance apart. They line up right over the knees, down to the feet. And today we're going to do a seated sun salutation. We do this standing usually, but all of the poses that we do standing can be done in a chair with some creativity. So hands come to heart center. So movement here for the upper body and the hips. Inhale as the arms rise. Separate the hands, taking a swan dive down. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale as your hands come back together and rise up with a straight spine. Exhale. Starting another round. Inhale as the arms rise. Separate the hands. Exhale, folding on down. Bring the hands back together. Your gaze stays out front, not dropping the head, so that you can stay in a long spine back through center. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale as you swan dive down. Keep gazing out towards me, and I'll keep gazing out towards you. Inhale as the hands come back through to center, straight long spine. One more round. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, flow that down, letting your heart or your chest come out front. It's going to keep your spine straight. Fingers and hands come back together and rise back up into your tall seat. Bring your hands down onto the thighs and just notice how that felt. Maybe the breath is a little bit faster. We were moving in a fairly quick pace. Just noticing here, taking in those feelings that the body has created. And then bringing the hands together, we're going to do what's called somatic movement in the joints. A little bit of lubrication for the joints. And we're going to start with the knuckles and the hands. So interlace the fingers and then squeeze your fists together until your knuckles are white. You've shut off a little bit of the blood flow in your hands. Release the hands and notice that little tingling feeling. A little bit of return of blood flow to the hands. Take the hands and let the interlace of the fingers be the other way, where it feels like you have an extra pointer finger, an extra pinky finger, and then squeeze the hands together again. A little bit of shutting off of blood flow there, and then release that, letting that blood flow back into the fingers and back into the knuckles. Bringing the hands back down onto the thighs. We're going to work with the right arm and the right wrist first. So rolling out the right wrist and then rolling that all the way into the right elbow and then all the way into the shoulder. And let's let the shoulder roll back and down and around, forward up towards the ear, back, around, down and through. One more time. Up towards the ear, shoulder goes back, around and down. And let's take the shoulder in the other direction. So shoulder comes up, around and forward and down. Back, up, around, forward and down. Let's take that one more time on the right side. Back, up, around, forward and down. Let that right hand come down to the right knee. Take a moment there. Notice how that right side feels. Take a nice breath here. And then starting on the other side. So lifting up the left hand, rolling into the left wrist. And then rolling into the left elbow. And then working into the shoulder. Take the shoulder up, back, around, and through. Up, back, around, and through. One last time. Up, back, around, and through. Let's do it the other way around. So bring the shoulder forward and down and back. Forward, around, and back. One last time. Forward, down, around, and back. And that left arm comes back down, palm of the hand on the thigh. Noticing the sensations in the body. Yoga is about those feelings that the poses give us. It is about the residual of that work. So then knowing when it's enough for you or when you should back off. Working in the legs a little bit here. Let's bring that right foot off the ground, about 3 inches. The bend is in our knee, but then push the right foot out. Let the toes come back towards you. You're flexing in the foot, heels pushing away. And then point into the right toes. Flex into the right foot, bend into the right knee, right leg down. Switching out sides. Left leg comes up. The bend is in the knee. Straighten into that left leg. Toes are coming back towards you. Heel is pushing away. Point into the left toes. Flex back into the left foot. Bend into the knee and come back down to the earth. Pause here for a moment so that you can notice and sense. Taking a little bit more of this work for the thighs and this little bit of lubrication for the joints. Let's bend into the right knee and then pull the right knee up towards you as much as you can. Let the heart stay rising up. It's easy to round down towards that knee, but let the heart rise up. You might bring your 2 right fingers right to the sternum here, to your to the bone right there in the center of your body. Pull that leg up. And then bring that leg down. Stay in that tall seat one more time. Pull that right knee up towards you. And bring that right knee back down. Same thing on the other side. Let's go ahead and bring the fingers up to the sternum, that breastbone there. And then left knee comes up, staying tall in your seat, not letting your head round down towards that leg. And then bring the leg down. One more time. Bring the left knee up. Higher towards your body, using the musculature of the legs, and then back down to the earth. Left hand comes down to the left knee. Take a moment here to take in those sensations, to take in that work of the muscles. And now we're going to use a little bit of back bending here. So moving on to our next pose, let the hands come behind you. What you're going to do is, I'm going to turn around so that you can see. See if you can grasp opposite elbows, or maybe you're just grasping opposite hands. You just have your hands and your arms behind you. Your heart is drawing out front. And we're going to take a little bit of back bending here in our seat. So let the chin rise up. Take your gaze up to the ceiling. And exhale back through center. Shoulder blades are coming together when we're grasping onto opposite elbows or hands. Whatever you can reach. Let the chin go skyward. Let the gaze go skyward. Look back behind you. A little yoga for the eyes. And then come back through to center. 2 more times. Inhale, chin rises skyward. Let the eyes look back towards the space behind you. And then back through to center. Chin comes parallel down to the earth. Last round. Inhale, let the chin rise skyward. Take your gaze back behind you. And then back through to center. Go ahead and release the arms from behind. Last pose before we finish off this 20-minute practice for today. Bring the arms into cactus arms. So notice that you could have your elbows forward, or you could have your elbows back so that you are in one plane here. So take a little look from side to side, and you really can't see your elbows. Yeah, a little gaze from side to side, a little eye yoga there. And then let the elbows come down towards the side seams of the body, and then rise back up. Let those arms come overhead, hands touch, and then back through to center. Keep pulling your elbows back, letting the elbows come down towards the sides of the body, and then back through to center. Let the hands come up and meet overhead with the elbows still bent, and then back through to center. Keep pulling those elbows back. And now a little side to side opening for the side seams. Taking the right elbow down towards the right side. Inhale up through center. Keep pulling those hands back. Over to the left side. Elbow down towards the side. Inhale back through center. Both sides one more time. Exhale as that right elbow comes down towards the right side. Inhale up through center. Exhale as the left elbow comes down towards the left side. Inhale up through center, and then release the arms down onto the thighs. A lot of work there. Notice those sensations. Take a couple breaths here. And then finishing out with just a couple rounds of that diaphragmatic breathing to end our practice, bringing one hand back up to the chest and one hand on the belly. Inhale, taking that oxygen into the belly, letting the belly rise like a balloon. Ribs rise and chest rises. Exhale, chest drops, ribs drop, and belly drops. One more round. Inhale as the belly rises, ribs rise, chest rises. Exhale as the chest drops, ribs drop, and belly drops. Take the hands back down onto the thighs, noticing here for a moment. Maybe closing the eyes, taking in those sensations. And then some final words for today. These words come from Thich Nhat Hanh. And I thought they were appropriate for what's going on right now. It could be for any time though, but here we go. The present moment is the substance with which the future is made. Therefore, the best way to take care of the future is to take care of the present moment. So keep taking care of day to day, moment to moment, and that will help take care of our future in these uncertain times and at any time, staying focused on the present moment. Bring the hands to heart center, letting your thumbs touch down on the sternum, the breastbone, and letting each finger meet its opposite on the other side. Thank you for practicing chair yoga with me today. I'm Louise Konrath. From my heart to yours, namaste.